Well, picture this. It's a crisp Saturday morning, the kind where the sun's just warm enough to make you think about mowing the lawn, but not so hot you actually do it. I'm sipping my coffee, black, because I'm not a monster, when I hear this obnoxious vroom vroom outside. Not a cool vroom, mind you, but the kind that sounds like a golf cart on its last legs. I peek out the window, and there they are, two goons in ill-fitting uniforms, stepping out of a tricked-out HOA patrol vehicle that's basically a glorified Power Wheels with a siren duct taped on. One's got a badge pinned crookedly to his chest, the other's clutching a clipboard like it's the Magna Carta, and they're marching straight toward my house. Now, I live in a neighborhood with an HOA so uptight it'd probably fine you for breathing too loud. But these clowns? They're not the usual clipboard-wielding Karens who nag about your trash cans being 2.5 inches too far from the curb. No, these guys are next-level entitled. The badge guy bangs on my door like he's auditioning for a SWAT team, yelling, "Open up! HOA enforcement! You're under arrest for violations." Arrest? Violations? I almost choke on my coffee. This isn't just petty HOA nonsense. This is some unhinged power trip. I crack the door open, leaning casually against the frame, because if they think they're getting in without a fight, they've got another thing coming. "Morning, officers," I say, voice dripping with sarcasm. "What's the charge?" "Felony grass height. Misdemeanor mailbox tilt." Badge guy, let's call him Karen in chief, puffs out his chest and says, "You've been reported for unauthorized modifications and disrupting community harmony. Step outside, or we'll escalate this." Escalate? To what? A bake sale standoff. Here's where it gets good. I've dealt with entitled people before. Karens who think neighborhood rules are divine law. HOA presidents who act like they're feudal lords. But this is a whole new breed. I glance at clipboard minion, who's scribbling something furiously, and notice his uniform is a repurposed security guard outfit with HOA police sharped on the sleeve. HOA police. Oh, honey, no. That's not a thing. I'm starting to smell a scam, but I play along. Arrest me, huh? Got a warrant? Badge numbers? A shred of authority that isn't from a Kinko's printer? Karen-in-Chief falters for a split second, then doubles down. We don't need warrants. The HOA bylaws give us full jurisdiction. Jurisdiction? I nearly laugh out loud. This guy's watched too many cop shows and not enough episodes of how laws actually work. But the tension's rising. Neighbors are peeking out their windows, phones in hand, probably live tweeting this circus. I could slam the door and call it a day, but where's the fun in that? These jokers picked the wrong house to mess with. So, I step outside, not because they scared me, but because I'm about to turn this into their worst nightmare. All right, boys, I say, crossing my arms. Let's see your bylaws. Show me the part where you get to play Judge Dredd over my azaleas. Clipboard minion fumbles with a stack of papers, dropping half of them, while Karen-in-Chief starts barking about emergency powers and fines up to $10,000. 10 grand. For what? Breathing air in their precious cul-de-sac. The audacity's so thick I could spread it on toast. At this point, I'm mentally cataloging every red flag. Fake uniforms, no legal paperwork, a patrol vehicle that looks like it's one pothole away from the junkyard. I've got a hunch these aren't even real HOA minions. They're grifters preying on rule-fearing suburbanites. And if they think I'm some pushover who'll write a check to make this go away, they're about to get a masterclass in how to lose spectacularly. I smile sweetly and say, "Hold that thought, fellas. I need to grab something inside." Their eyes narrow, but they let me go. Big mistake. So, I duck back inside, leaving Karen-in-Chief and clipboard minions stewing on my porch like a couple of overcooked pot stickers. They're muttering about non-compliance and escalation, but I'm not sweating it. I've got a plan brewing hotter than my coffee, and it starts with gathering intel. I grab my phone, a notepad, and, because I'm extra, a little something I keep handy for situations like this, a voice recorder. Nothing fancy, just a cheapo thing from the drugstore, but it's about to be their kryptonite. I stroll back out, all wide-eyed and innocent, like I'm some clueless suburbanite who doesn't know a bylaw from a buy-one-get-one coupon. "Sorry about that, officers," I say, twirling my hair for effect. Just had to feed my goldfish. So, what's this about $10,000? That's, like, a lot of money. Karen-in-Chief smirks, thinking he's got me on the ropes. It's for multiple infractions, he says, voice oozing with fake authority. Unauthorized garden gnomes, non-regulation paint trim, and, excessive loitering. Loitering? On my own property? This guy's freestyle rapping his way through a con job. Clipboard minion chimes in, waving his papers like a kid showing off a finger painting. It's all here in the HOA Code of Conduct. You owe us now, or we'll lien your house. Lien my house. Oh, bless their little grifter hearts. They're swinging for the fences. I nod solemnly, scribbling nonsense on my notepad, mostly doodles of them in clown costumes, while the recorder hums quietly in my pocket. Gosh, that sounds serious, I say. Can you tell me more about this lien thing? Like how it works? Karen-in-Chief launches into a spiel so full of holes it could double as Swiss cheese. We file it with the county, and if you don't pay, we take your house. Simple. Simple, huh? I bite my lip to keep from laughing. Liens don't work like that, buddy. You need a court order, a lawyer, and, oh yeah, actual legal standing. These clowns don't even have a real HOA badge, let alone jurisdiction. But I let him ramble, because every word's gold for what's coming next. The neighbors are fully invested now. Mrs. Jenkins across the street is practically hanging out her window with binoculars, and the guy next door's filming with his phone like it's a true crime doc. Good. Witnesses are my bread and butter. I tilt my head and ask, so, who reported me? Was it Karen down the block? She's been salty since I painted my mailbox teal. Karen-in-Chief blinks, caught off guard. It's confidential, he stammers. But it's a high-priority case. High-priority gnomes. Sure, Jan. That's when I spot their patrol vehicle again, license plate half covered with duct tape. HOA police stenciled on the side in what looks like spray paint from a dollar store can. My hunch is solidifying. These aren't just overzealous HOA drones. They're scam artists impersonating authority. And they've just handed me a gift-wrapped opportunity to bury them. I decide to escalate the game a little. Okay, I say, sighing dramatically. I'll pay, but I need a receipt. And your names. For my records, you know? Their faces twist like they've just bitten into a lemon. We don't do receipts. Clipboard minion snaps, clutching his papers tighter. Cash only right now. Cash only? In 2025? What is this, a mob shakedown? Karen-in-Chief nods, puffing up again. Pay up, or we tow your car for obstructing the street. My car's in the garage. Genius, but I let that slide. I'm too busy savoring the moment. They're so deep in their own bull they don't see the cliff ahead. Hold on, I say, holding up a finger. Let me get my checkbook. I don't keep that much cash lying around. Goldfish food's expensive these days. I turn to head inside again, and Karen-in-Chief grabs my arm. Big. Freaking. Mistake. No checks, he barks. Cash or consequences. I freeze, smile fading just enough to make them squirm. You might want to take your hand off me. I say, voice low. Unless you want this to get really official. He lets go, but the tension's thick now. Neighbors gasping, cameras rolling. Game on. So there I am, standing on my porch, arm freshly liberated from Karen-in-Chief's sweaty grip, staring down two fake HOA goons who've clearly never heard of personal space or basic legal principles. The air's buzzing, neighbors gawking, phones out, Mrs. Jenkins probably drafting a petition to canonize me already. I could call the cops right now and end this farce, but where's the sport in that? These clowns want to play entitled overlords? Fine, I'll play their game, except I'm rewriting the rules. I flash my sweetest smile, the kind that says, I'm harmless, while secretly plotting their demise. Okay, fellas, I say, rubbing my arm like I'm the victim here, Oscar-worthy, if I do say so. No cash, no checks. Guess I'll need to Venmo you the $10,000. What's your handle? At HOA Scam Squad. Clipboard minion sputters. We don't do Venmo. While Karen-in-Chief glares like I've insulted his ancestors. Cash only. Or we're towing your car and seizing your property, he snarls. Seizing my property? Buddy, you couldn't seize a coupon from a cereal box. I glance at their patrol vehicle, a rust bucket golf cart with a flickering siren, and nod thoughtfully. Cool ride. Where'd you get it? The reject lot at Bad Guys R Us. Does it come with a free How to Impersonate Authority manual? Karen-in-Chief's face goes beet red, and Clipboard Minion starts flipping through his papers like he'll find a comeback in there. Spoiler, he won't. But I'm not done. I pull out my phone, pretending to text. Hang on, let me call my lawyer. She loves a good lean story, especially when it's fake. That's when they start to crack. Karen-in-Chief snaps. No lawyers. This is HOA business, and lunges for my phone. I sidestep him like he's a drunk uncle at a barbecue, and he stumbles into my azaleas. Oh no. I gasp, hand to my chest. Assault and property damage. You're racking up charges faster than I can say lawsuit. The neighbors gasp louder. Mrs. Jenkins drops her binoculars, and I know I've got them on the ropes. Time to tighten the noose. I hit play on the voice recorder in my pocket, letting their earlier gems echo out. We don't need warrants. The HOA bylaws give us full jurisdiction, and pay up, or we take your house. Their eyes widen. Karen-in-Chief looks like he's about to bolt. Clipboard Minion's clutching his papers like a security blanket. What's that? I say innocently. Evidence. Don't worry, I've got it all backed up. Cloud storage is a beautiful thing. They're sweating now, and I'm just getting started. Tell you what, I say, leaning in. Let's make this fun. You've got 5 minutes to explain who you really are, without lying, before I call the real police. Or, the county clerk, who'd love to hear about your lien process. Clock's ticking. Karen-in-Chief tries to bluster. We're official HOA enforcers, but his voice cracks like a teenager's. Clipboard Minion's shaking his head, muttering, This wasn't the plan, Gary. Gary? Oh, perfect. Karen-in-Chief has a name, and it's as basic as his scam. I decide to push harder. Gary, huh? Let's see your ID, Gary. And you, Minion, got a name too? Or do I just call you Exhibit B in court? Gary growls. You can't do this, but I'm already dialing. Loudly, so the neighbors hear. Hey, sheriff's office? Yeah, I've got 2 impersonators trying to extort me. Can you send someone quick? I don't actually hit send. Not yet, but the bluff works. Gary bolts for the golf cart, yelling, Abort! Abort! Like he's in a bad spy movie. Clipboard Minion trips over his own feet, trying to follow, papers scattering everywhere. I scoop up a few pages as they peel out. Well, peel out is generous. The cart tops out at maybe 5 miles per hour. The documents are gold. Handwritten fines, a fake HOA logo that looks like it was drawn in MS Paint. And, get this, a sticky note saying, Next target, 42, Elm Street. These idiots are running a neighborhood-wide racket. But they picked the wrong mark. I'm not just some homeowner. I've got skills, connections, and a grudge to settle. Gary and Minion don't know it yet, but their little con is about to crash harder than their golf cart. So, Gary and his clipboard-toting sidekick are chugging away in their sad little golf cart, leaving a trail of scattered scam papers and crushed dreams in my azaleas. I'm standing there, phone in one hand, recorder in the other, and a grin so wide it could split my face. The neighbors are losing it. Mrs. Jenkins is cheering like I just scored a touchdown, and the guy next door's yelling, Get him! Like this is WWE. I wave the fake HOA docs in the air like a victory flag. Anyone want a souvenir? I call out. Limited edition, signed by Dumb and Dumber. But I'm not done, not by a long shot. These clowns think they can scam my neighborhood and just roll off to their next mark? Nah. I've got their playbook, literally. Those drop papers are a goldmine, and I'm about to turn this into a community takedown so epic they'll be begging for real cops to save them. I jog inside, grab my laptop, and start digging. First stop, the HOA website. Surprise, surprise, zero mention of HOA police or emergency liens. The real HOA's a pain, sure, but they're not this unhinged. Gary and Minion are freelancing, and I'm about to make them famous. I scan the docs, sloppy forgeries, fake letterheads, and that sticky note about 42, Elm Street. That's Old Man Peterson's place. He's 80, half-deaf, and owns a shotgun he's not afraid to wave around. If Gary tries his shtick there, He might get more than a fine. I smirk, then fire off a quick group text to the neighborhood watch chat. Heads up, folks, fake HOA scammers in a golf cart. Check your fines. Meet at my place in 20 if you're in. Phones start pinging like popcorn. This cul-de-sac's about to turn into a vigilante sitcom. While I wait, I run the golf cart's partial play through a quick web search. Nothing official, but a post on X pops up from last month. Shady HOA cops shook down my mom in Oakwood. Golf cart, fake badges, cash only. Cops did nothing. Oakwood's 2 towns over. These grifters have range. I save the link, then cross-check the HOA bylaws. Yes, I've got a copy. Long story. No jurisdiction clause, no enforcement unit. Gary's whole act is a house of cards, and I'm bringing the wind. The doorbell rings. Mrs. Jenkins, neighbor Tim, and half a dozen others pile in, clutching fines they've gotten over the past week. $500 for unapproved curtains. $2,000 for a birdhouse. They're pissed, and I'm loving it. I play the recording. Gary's "We Take Your House" rant gets gasps and a "that son of a" from Tim. They hit me yesterday, Mrs. Jenkins says, waving a crumpled paper. I paid $200. Thought it was legit. I pat her shoulder. Don't worry, we're getting it back, with interest. I lay out the plan. Step 1, trap Gary and Minion. Step 2, expose them. Step 3, profit, or at least gloat. They're headed to Peterson's, I say, holding up the sticky note. Let's beat them there. Tim grins. I've got a drone, can film the whole thing. Mrs. Jenkins pulls out her phone. I'll call my nephew, he's a deputy. Perfect. I grab my recorder, a printout of the real HOA rules, and, because why not, a megaphone I keep for emergencies, don't ask. We pile into Tim's SUV, a ragtag posse ready to rain justice. We roll up to 42 Elm just as the golf cart sputters into view. Gary's banging on Peterson's door, yelling about violations, while Minion's got a new clipboard, probably scavenged from a dumpster. Peterson cracks the door, shotgun in hand, and growls, "Get off my lawn." Gary freezes. I hop out, megaphone blaring. Smile, Gary, you're on candid camera. Tim's drone buzzes overhead, recording. As the neighbors fan out, phone's up. Gary spins, sees us, and bolts for the cart. Right into Mrs. Jenkins, who whacks him with her purse. That's for my $200, you weasel. Minion drops his clipboard and raises his hands like we're the FBI. We didn't mean it, he whines. It was Gary's idea. Gary's tangled in Peterson's garden hose now, cursing as the old man waves the shotgun. I step forward, recorder rolling. Say it louder, Minion, whose idea? He spills, fake badges, forged docs, hitting 3 towns in 6 months. The drone catches it all. Gary's done, trapped, exposed, and about to face a reckoning. But I've got one more card to play. So here we are, 42 Elm Street, a scene straight out of a suburban Mad Max reboot. Gary's flailing in Peterson's garden hose. Minion's sobbing into his surrendered clipboard, and Old Man Peterson's waving his shotgun like a conductor at a chaos symphony. Tim's drone is buzzing overhead. Mrs. Jenkins is mid-purse swing, and I'm holding court with my megaphone like the ringmaster of this glorious circus. The neighbors are a wall of phones and fury, and Gary's scam is toast. But I'm not letting him slink off that easy. Oh no, this is my moment. Gary, I boom through the megaphone, voice echoing off the cul-de-sac. You picked the wrong neighborhood, pal. Should have stuck to scamming bingo halls. Less resistance, better snacks. He glares, yanking at the hose, but Peterson's tied it in a knot that'd make a sailor proud. Minion's still blubbering. I just wanted a new Xbox, and I almost feel bad. Almost. Then I remember the $200 they stole from Mrs. Jenkins, and I'm back to grinning like the cat that ate the canary. Time to drop the hammer. I pull out my phone, really calling this time, and dial my old buddy Deputy Mike, Mrs. Jenkins' nephew. Hey Mike, I say, loud enough for Gary to hear. Got 2 impersonators tied up, literally, at 42 Elm. Extortion, assault, the works. Bring the cuffs. Gary's eyes bug out. You can't arrest us, he shrieks. We're HOA. I hold up the real bylaws printout. Funny, these say you're not. But the sheriff will sort it out. right after I hand over this recording. I play it again. We don't need warrants. Pay up or we take your house. The neighbors boo like it's a pantomime. That's when it clicks for Gary. I'm not just some pissed-off homeowner. Who are you? He sputters, host still choking his dignity. I lower the megaphone, step close, and give him the full reveal. Name's Alex Harper, Special Agent, FBI Fraud Division, retired. Well, semi-retired. I consult now, mostly to keep clowns like you from fleecing good people. The crowd gasps. Mrs. Jenkins yells, I knew it. She didn't. Gary's face collapses. He's not just caught. He's caught by someone who's spent decades dismantling scams bigger than his golf cart hustle. Sirens wail in the distance. Mike's fast when family's involved. I turn to the neighbors. Anyone else get hit? Let's tally it up. Hands shoot up. $200 here, $500 there. A grand total of $4,800 stolen across 2 weeks. I snap a photo of Gary's fake badge, serial number sharp it on, and text it to Mike with a note. Check Oakwood 2. The deputies roll up, lights flashing, and Gary's still trying to bargain. We'll pay it back, he whines. Too late, I say. You're paying in jail time now. Mike cuffs them, reading rights while Minion cries about his Xbox dreams. I hand over the recorder, the docs, and Tim's drone footage, airtight evidence for a slam dunk case. Felony impersonation, extortion, maybe some trespassing for fun, I tell Mike. Wrap it up pretty for the DA. He grins. You ever miss the badge, Alex? I shrug. Only when idiots like this make it too easy. The crowd erupts as Gary and Minion are stuffed into the squad car. Peterson fires a warning shot into the air. Mike sighs, but lets it slide. And Mrs. Jenkins gets her $200 back from Gary's wallet before he's hauled off. I call the real HOA later, tipping them off about the scam. They're mortified, promise a newsletter apology, and quietly drop their own petty fines against me. Win-win. That night, the neighborhood throws an impromptu block party. Tim's grilling, Peterson's telling war stories, and I'm toasting with a beer, regaling them with tales of busting bigger fish than Gary. The next day, X lights up. Retired FBI agent takes down fake HOA cops. Epic. With Tim's drone vid racking up views. Gary and Minion? They're facing 5 to 10 years, plus restitution. Me? I'm back to my coffee, azaleas intact, and a new nickname. The HOA Slayer. Justice? Served hot, loud, and with a side of sarcasm. Mess with my neighborhood again, and I'll do it all over. Retired or not, I've still got the moves. Thank you for listening to this story. Please share in the comments where you are from and if you enjoyed it, and see you next time.